Welcome to Churchland Talk again. And today we'll be talking about a series of stories going on in the media. As you all know, the media definitely they will have something to say. And the interesting part is that everybody has their own opinion. I have mine, everybody has theirs. And at Churchland Talk, we take a look at their opinions, we merge it with our own opinion. Tell me what you think in the comment section, which will hold water, because at this point, lots of narrative all around, lots of things everybody has to say. Everybody wants to say something. Everybody feel they are the best position to say what is best for the club. And the first story will be on Manchester United. Remember the situation about their coaching staff or the manager for the particular club. Right now, they are stuck between continue with Carrick or go for someone else. And most of the teams, most of the fans, they have their own opinion. Some are saying Carrick might be a disaster in the long run. And some are saying, let's just look for someone else like Nigel Hansman, or what's this guy at PSG. Everybody has their own opinion. And let's take a listen to these guys and let's see what they are saying concerning this situation, because right now it's becoming a big issue, which definitely everybody has something to say about. Let's take a listen.
Do you lean into a dressing room's opinion when you're looking for a coach? Because you want to hear, if both of them say, I don't know, don't really want to comment on that, it's not up to us.
They won't, will they? Well, that's what they should say. Really and truly, actually, we're players and we'll play whichever manager that comes into this football club and tells us.
And truly, in this world we're in right now, everything's politicized. Politics, everybody don't want to say. Everybody has their own opinion. If a player says, I'm not going to talk about that, it's not my position. Obviously, it's not in their own position. They don't have to say anything. They don't have right to. Should I say they don't have right? They just can't give their own opinion, because the moment you say you don't want this person and this person you don't want, it doesn't work out, they will be thrown under the bus. Believe you me. But Bueno and Diallo, they have their own opinion, and there's a bit criticism from different angles, and everybody has what to say about it. And this issue is getting, but definitely I just think this board knows what they are going to do or who they are going to get, because it's already April now, and before you know it, the league is done, World Cup is here, and you have to get prepared for pre-season. Before you know it, August is here again, and the season starts all again. Let's continue to listen to these guys.
Do think that's what we should be doing? That's our job as footballers.
No, but if they believe in him, why shouldn't they say that?
Because they're not going to say anything alternatively, are they? They're not going to say.
You can't
something.
say anything different, even when your brain's saying this guy is an idiot. You have to say the politically correct lines.
So is it wrong for Diallo to say, if it was up to me, I'd give it to him full time?
Well, not really, but I think he'd probably say that even if he didn't think it.
The boy's 23, Simon.
These players, they have their own opinion. They know if Carrick is good for them or not. But they just can't say that, because the way I'm seeing it, if they should say anything negative and Carrick doesn't go, definitely they are going to lose their position. And if they should say something positive and at the end of the day Carrick leaves and someone else comes, there's a likelihood that that person will not look at them in a good light, and they might lose their position. And that's why it's a very thin line between how do they balance this up. The best thing is just not to say anything at all. You are here to play football game. And one thing with the journalists, the media, they have a way of poking you and making you to say something. And if you are not careful, you might say something that you wish you have never said.
Opinion.
Sure, absolutely, but it's not steeped in any real substance, is it? Because ultimately, he's not inexperienced.
He's playing under him.
Yeah, he's playing with him at this moment in time in terms of they've got a decent run of form going. But as far as management is concerned, and being in a situation where you employ managers, and a manager's role is multifaceted. It's not just to deal with the players, it's to deal with the media, it's to deal with managing up. So a young player doesn't have any of that experience, doesn't know what that looks like. So it's really relatively irrelevant. If you're again, it depends what kind of owner you are. If you're a Marinakis, you might well factor in it. It might be a coefficient that you think is important.
I actually believe them. I do believe them.
So do I.
And the reason I believe them is because what I see on the pitch. And I
Because
see
they're also getting picked and played the way
they're
they want
playing,
to.
yeah, but I see a group of players on board. They look like physically they look good.
Maybe they both raised their game a bit because of
Let's
Carrick.
be sincere too. Since this guy came in, that way of playing has changed. But some people are scared that maybe it's just the new manager bump, and before you know, when the full season starts, when you have to play in the Champions League, you have to play in the FA Cup, you have to play in the Carling Cup, you have to play the Premier League, and all these games are built in, then lapses begin to happen. So it's a difficult one, but something just has to be done about it.
Yeah, they have. Because they've been put in a system.
He's telling them what he wants from them, Danny,
That's-
and they're giving him.
Yeah, and I believe them. I think in terms of owners or CEOs asking opinions on players, I think there's nothing wrong with it if the person asking the questions has the foresight and the open-mindedness to listen and go, what a load of
And the
nonsense.
problem with that is, and I understand it, and I think that's right too.
Yeah, I like
The
what that guy said, because truly, if you you are open-minded and you have to ask the players that, what do you think about the present coach, or do you think we should get someone else, or what's your idea, or what do you think we should do concerning getting a new coach? Have any idea, or what do you want in a manager? All those things. If the management has an open heart, they can definitely deal with that and not use that against the players. And definitely, it's a very tough one, no doubt. It's a very bizarre situation. It's a very difficult one for them. And to me, they just have to make something before it's too late. Definitely good one for Manchester United. They're in a better position. Assuming they were in like the 14th, 15th position that they were some seasons ago, the pressure would have been much. It would have been crazy. But now they are relaxed, knowing full well that, should I say, 80% chance of them playing the Champions League. So let's go to listen.
The maturity of players understanding that when to speak and when to be quiet is a very difficult line to divide. I'm not suggesting that it should be all marching in step like proles. What I'm saying is, if you start empowering players to believe more than they already do, more than they've been curated into thinking that they can actually hire and fire managers, you create a rod for your own back. You have to make a decision based upon all the factors.
Yeah.
You have to look at the instantaneous reaction from.
Well, to me, it depends on the management. Questions you are asking, why are those questions being asked? Are you asking to get a positive feedback, a feedback that will help the team on the long run? Or are you asking those questions and at the end of the day, you don't make use of them, and at the end of the day, decisions you make they generate bad blood? So it depends on how the information you are trying to get, how you are going to use them. So the bottom line is just depends on the management. Know that we can't talk much about that. It's just the management and how they deal with the information that they get or the information that they ask for. That's just it. Any other thing is they're just looking for trouble.
the players. You have to look at the behaviour of the manager in certain circumstances, not just when he's winning. You have to look at his results against Newcastle and say, okay, not so good then, was it? We've got to look at all the factors to make a decision to manage a football club as significant as Manchester United. It's not just a bunch of players that are doing well in the short term, that did well, not this group of players, but a previous incarnation of players that did well for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that turned into a bit of a car crash at the end.
So, Manchester United is in a difficult situation, so to say, And what can they do? You just have to get a new man, get a manager. I'm not saying now whether a new one or continue with the old one, but the most important thing is the decision has to be made. Would they continue? But left to me, there's nothing wrong in continuing with this guy. He's been doing the job. The players love him. What they need to do is get new players, improve the set of players that they have. They need to have that strength in depth, because that's what we need in game of in football. Because in this age of football, there are lots of tournaments. You are in the Carling Cup, you are in the FA Cup, you are in the Premier League, you are in the Champions League, and just one single player cannot go on and on like this with all these games. It can be grueling, especially the Premier League. That's why at least in every position, at least you have two players, good players, not just two players, good players who will do the job and do it in the right way. So that's for Manchester United. I wish them best of luck. Do what we want to do before it's too late and get on with it, whatever you find at the end of the day, because the more you delay, the more there's problem. Let's go on to the next story we are going to talk about.
Well, I think you've got to, if you're a Liverpool fan, till this journey ends. And I'm talking about the...
We're going to talk about Liverpool. Remember, Liverpool, they are the defending champions, and suddenly, the defending champions of the Premier League, and suddenly things are not going on fine, and are not going on well with them. They are being defeated, losing their games, the games they are supposed to win. And when the Premier League started, they were doing well. But suddenly, they are way down the table. Right now, I can't even remember. I think they're in the 5th or 6th position, if not the 7th position. Nobody expected that. All the form players, Mohamed Salah, suddenly, they are not playing well. The game against PSG, they were just all over the place. The defense is not that good. Well, it's still too late. Anything can happen. But the way I'm seeing it, I don't see them perform any magic against PSG. PSG are a very good side. And not only that, Liverpool right now are not playing very good. So let's listen to these guys.
End of the season, you've got to give him, he's earned that right by winning the league last year. I think the extreme levels of performances is really worrying. The how can you say, the look of the players physically in the last game, second half, was a concern. It did feel like they'd kind of not, I wouldn't say down tools, because when you're getting done 3 or 4, it's hard to play at the same intensity, but it didn't look like a side.
That at this time of the season, it's not easy. Most players are already exhausted, and that's why just have to have those sound players that who can continue. There are some that might still have some gas in them, who can still go a little bit further. Because for the likes, these guys, they started well during the season, and suddenly they're just falling apart. I think their next game in the Premier League will be against Fulham, and nobody can predict what exactly they are going to do, because just like this guy said, in the Champions League, in the second half, you could just feel that more or less like they were waiting for the final whistle, because they were already exhausted, no idea, nothing to do again. They just didn't know what to do. But let's take a listen.
Yeah, the first time, like, it felt like players were looking around, seeing what we're doing, what's going on, who's going to save us type thing. I think he is in a really precarious position because of how far the fans have turned. Getting that back, I've never seen. I've never seen the Liverpool fans turn and then someone turn it round. It takes a lot for them to go, and the style that they've been playing, the poor performances in big games has been something none of us anticipated.
So no matter what happens, slots, it's inevitable what the ultimate outcome will be.
I think even if he finished fifth and got in the Champions League, depending how this Champions League run goes, he either needs to win it. If he wins it, he'll keep his job, and rightly so.
I know it's going to be a difficult one for Nasser because the pressure has been on him for some time. And with Xabi Alonso locking in the corner, they might, well, I think the managers might be waiting for the season to take stock, the end of the season, take stock and decide what to do with him. Should he go or should he stay? But to me, it's not. He won the Premier League last season, so let's still give him that credit. But with the way things are going, I don't think it's working out fine with them. But definitely, my own thought is the management are waiting for the end of the season, take stock, and know what they're going to do with Ancelotti.
He has a glorious failure, i.e. gets to the final, plays great, loses on pens, whatever, maybe he'll keep it. But if he doesn't, if Liverpool go out with a whimper against PSG and get run all over,
yeah,
I think he's done. Irrelevant finishing fifth.
And the irony of it is that the two players that the must-haves must have kept, absolutely must have kept them. You absolutely had to keep them. All the noise in the background, you've got to keep Salah, you've got to keep Virgil van Dijk. And ironically, they've not been great this season at all.
No, but he's still been one of the better ones, and that's, you know.
Yeah, amongst centre halves.
Van Dijk,
yeah,
yeah.
but
Right.
The very centre halves have been in. Have not been.
One thing with the team is that soccer, football is a team game, and everybody should be on that. If somebody is not up to par, it generally affects the team. Not to talk of somebody like Mo Salah, who has been their most outstanding player, scoring goals for them. Even when things were difficult, he popped out of nowhere and scored goals. But suddenly, your main star, your shining star, your what do I call it? Your GOAT is suddenly not performing. Definitely, is going to affect the team. Mo Salah has been poor this season, no doubt. And what can you do? Van Dijk also, it's just funny. But one thing with soccer, football is that people did well this season. There's probability that in the following season, you come down and come again. Because the problem with the pressure, why the pressure is so much on Liverpool is that they've got players. They spend a lot of money. Suddenly, they are not performing. What needs to be done again? I don't know. Well, they're lucky they have the option of coaching Xabi Alonso. But would that work in the long run? I don't know, because the competition in the Premier League is stiff. You have to know what you are doing to get into the top four or win the Premier League in England.
He's not had much help. But the reality is, irrelevant of the problems they've had, the injuries, the new players, all those excuses, they don't matter now because the fans have turned, the majority of them. So tonight is massive for him. I think he'd be fine.
Do you think it's fair? I mean, I'm not suggesting that life is fair, but do you think that given the fact he won a Premier League, arguably, with Klopp's side, and just really had to keep it on rails and maybe a little tinkering around the side to finesse it a little bit, take a little bit of edge off the rock and roll stuff, and now this season, it hasn't been what it was in the first season. Is it fair that he gets so little currency after such a short period of time where it hasn't gone the way fans might have expected it, with various caveats? I think it was handicapped by the handling of Salah. I think all of that undermined him. But
I think it would be.
Well, for Mo Salah, he's already done in Liverpool. It's the best time for him to move on. Definitely, he's going, and they should just have to get someone else. And with the situation they are in right now in Liverpool, I just feel they just have to ease out all the dead woods, get better players who are ready to fight and who are ready to do the job. And most likely, the season will be a good one for them. But one thing is certain, Slot in his first season, but some people will say was using your class players. First season, he won the Premier League. That one is there, no doubt. And everybody just has to lay low and give him that credit and hope everything turns for the better. Maybe they should give him one more season and see how it performs. And luckily, something might be done. So let's keep our fingers crossed and see how these stories or how these managers are going to work out. In case of Carrick, should he go or should he stay? Let me know in the comment section what you think. And for Ancelot, so should he go or should he stay? Let me know your opinion. The comment section is open. Love to hear from you. This has been Churchland Talk. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. It goes a long way. Tells the algorithm something is happening here. It goes a long way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on my next video.